Hello, welcome to MCFC9320Group TV podcast. And tonight we are going to be talking to John, as per usual, Anne-Marie, and Riz in sunny Bulgaria. How are you?
Good,
I'm very well,
Andy.
thanks.
All had a good weekend?
Not
Very
been too
good.
bad. Went to
Good.
Wembley yesterday.
How was it,
Oh,
John?
did you?
Yeah, not a bad trip. Apart from the result, but I'm getting used to that. Aren't we? Good trips and bad results.
Yeah, we certainly are. It's that's two finals pretty much. What Pep's lost.
Wasn't that an album by the Happy Mondays? Good trips and bad results.
I don't know. I'm far too young to remember the Happy Mondays.
Never Happy Mondays. Bob Geldof was right.
Only in Bulgaria.
So, Riz, you're in Bulgaria, live from Bulgaria. Have you met Alex
I am.
while you've been over there?
Alex, yeah, I saw him flying over. He's going to Croatia. So we did wave past pleasantries, and I fly all out to Bulgaria to see him, and he goes to Croatia. What's
Fantastic.
that about?
Anne-Marie,
How
have you
rude.
had a good weekend? What have you been up to?
Had a very good weekend, Andy. Had a few days in London, but didn't get to Wembley. But recovering today.
Right, so let's get this right. You've spent a few days in London, and on the day sitting at Wembley, you're travelling back.
Yeah.
That's just bad planning, isn't it?
Yeah, but then you have to blame your mates for that.
See,
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, but
see,
Anne-Marie,
I couldn't
what
do
you
that.
could have done, right? Anne-Marie, you could have organised it. I had a spare seat on my coach.
Oh well,
To come back.
I didn't know that, John.
So did you actually set off to go to Wembley and didn't make it, or did you go do like some bird watching or something like that?
Oh no, we did a lot of sightseeing. I had my wallet robbed in the Rocket.
Your wallet.
Right?
It's
Yeah.
You shouldn't have put it in your rocket, should you? You should have had it in your pocket.
Funnily enough, last time Riz was in London, he had his purse nicked. Wow, that's a
Did?
coincidence.
That is. Well, I can't like to call it my fanny pack.
Funny pack, was it? Right, okay.
No fanny pack. It's like the Americans. That's a bum bag, isn't it?
All
Yeah.
right.
It was an American bum bag, so I called it a fanny pack.
So, John, Grealish's debut yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah.
My daughter got a bit excited because she's now got a thing for Grealish. She was Aguero mad, but he's left now, so it's next, isn't it?
Aguero,
Things move on.
He's so last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for a funny little story, Grealish actually models his hair in his hairband on me and Riz.
You know what? It's funny you should say that. Wait there.
Oh, here we go, the man with the props. So yeah, Grealish's debut, pal. I thought he did all right when he come on. He looked lively. He was never going to start anyway. I think overall the match yesterday, we didn't pull up any trees or anything.
What I couldn't believe is Leicester fans booing him.
I think we're going to get that with all clubs, aren't they? Because he's the first £100 million.
Yeah, but for the Euros, he couldn't do anything wrong.
No. In fact, we've got Jack Grealish live from Bulgaria.
All right there, mate. How you doing?
I didn't. No, it's from the Midlands, isn't it? Not Wales.
They only do a Wales.
Right.
I've got this one. I don't know which one's best. This one, but my hair drops over a bit. But I've got this one. I look like someone off Rab C. Nesbitt though with this on.
Funny you should say. All right. Well,
I like to keep up the fashion thing, and I can imagine, like 50-year-old blokes wandering around with the Jack Grealish hairdo. So I thought, I don't want to be left out. I've prepped myself.
I can't imagine it anyway. So, John, seeing as you was the only one at Wembley yesterday, what was it like in the respect? It looked quite empty, really, Wembley.
Yeah, it was. But you know, how many times have City fans been to Wembley recently? How many times have we've been to finals, been to European trips? The one we least worry about is the Community Shield.
Yeah, but even Leicester didn't set the the full capacity or anything like that. So just I thought it was a major trophy to some.
Well, now Leicester have won it. Apparently, it is.
It's a major trophy now. They've won it, but when we win it, it's a Mickey Mouse trophy, Anne-Marie.
Yep.
I know it doesn't surprise me, but I think there's probably still a lot of people a little bit cautious of going to the games because like obviously it's not just a case of going into the ground, is it? It's getting there, and there's people still cautious about COVID and things like that. So I can understand it not being anywhere near full. And
how was it getting in, John?
Bit of a farce, actually. We're supposed to have anybody with double jabbed could go, or if you wasn't double jabbed, you had to do a PCR test before you went in. Nobody checked anything at all. Nobody asked for your results. Nobody asked for your COVID pass. All we did was walk straight to the turnstiles, scan your thing to get in, walked in. You walked through a metal detector that didn't even go off. I had keys in my pocket, my phone, everything. And they just waved you through.
So they learned nothing from the Euros final then?
No, not a thing.
See, that's quite concerning, that, especially with things like terrorism and stuff like that, where metal detectors to go in, nothing's detected. Because I know for anybody who's been, Riz may know this, anybody who's traveling abroad now, it's like I was in Spain a couple of weeks ago, and it's like you show your passport and stuff like that, and then you have to do your COVID stuff, or else you simply don't get in. Did you find that, or did you drive, Riz, to Bulgaria?
No, I did one of John Baker's trips, I think. We were due to fly out on the 21st. And I think on the 20th or something like on the 19th, the Bulgaria put the Brits in the red. So we wouldn't have been able to fly out. So we ended up having to change it on last minute, fly out on the Saturday. So we ended up flying from Manchester to Spain, Spain to Poland, Poland to Bulgaria to get in.
See, this is madness, because I work with a lot of Bulgarians, and a lot of them have gone back to Bulgaria and stuff like that, and they've returned to the UK. So what is the difference? See, it's more like a party political broadcast now, but it's got to be, it bugs me, this, because the Bulgarians, they're allowed who live in the UK, they're allowed to fly into Bulgaria, have the holiday back with the family and stuff, and then travel straight back into the UK. No questions asked, but Brits are banned. Mind you, I think it's a good opportunity for a lot of countries to ban the Brits. They've been wanting to do it for years, haven't they?
Well, I can't blame them, to be honest. I mean, out here now, it's like there isn't a ban. I came out last year. I managed to get out last year, again, by fluke, really. And it was dead. It was absolutely dead. Now, it's like, what virus? It's everyone's, there's no masks, there's no nothing. My take on it is that if you're double jabbed and you're tested before you fly, then that means you've not got it, and if you do get it, you're not going to die from it in a foreign country.
Yeah.
If you do the same coming back, if you're tested before you fly, then what's the problem? I don't understand. It's obviously political, the blacks and the reds and the oranges and the whatever colour you can go in. It's it's wrong, and it's obviously there's somebody making lots of money out of it, as we know, John, with COVID tests we've had in the past. I know people who've come back off holiday they had to take an 8-day test, a 2-day test.
Me and the wife, we had to take a two-day test. We had to.
And has it come back?
Yeah. When was it? When we was in Spain, Campastia, the Manchester pub. What a brilliant pub that. We had to have a 24-hour one before we flew back into the UK. That was €30, and then we had a 2-day one afterwards when we arrived in the UK, which was £60 each. Yeah, so how, with all this going on, how is it going to affect the average football fan in terms of, is away fans allowed back into the stadiums in the UK, or is it just?
Yeah, they are. Tottenham fans, Tottenham away tickets are already sorted. Paper tickets are coming through, just like the normal away days, basically.
Good.
What about COVID tests? Do you need a test?
Nobody's said anything about COVID tests or anything like that. So we'll find out. But
so I mean, this obviously, like Anne-Marie was, I think, getting to before I rudely interrupted, was that there's a lot of people scared still of mixing and mingling in public. I must admit, this is the first time that we went out. We've been here about 3 days, and we went out for a meal, and we were literally walking around on the main front, if you like, and it was hammered, and I felt a bit uncomfortable. Nobody had masks on, and I'm so used to seeing masks, and I felt a little bit, I don't know, vulnerable. Maybe is that the word? I don't know. It felt a bit awkward.
It's weird now because I don't recognise people without the masks on.
Well, that's good then.
No, seriously, I don't. So Anne-Marie, as John said there, it's going to be normal at Spurs away, which brings us to Harry Kane. Is he going to sign?
Link. You're the master of the link.
I think a lot of the Harry Kane thing has been majorly hyped up this week with his alleged failure to turn up on Monday for training. When you read his statement, he had an agreement not to be back on Monday anyway, and he also has an agreement with Daniel Levy, if you can trust Daniel Levy, that he doesn't necessarily need to be a Tottenham player this season. So it's going to be an interesting week this week, I think, because obviously we play them on Sunday, don't we?
Yeah, and on top
I don't
of that,
think, even if he is coming our way, I don't think we'll hear anything until at least Monday.
But Pep has actually come out and in public, which is very, very, I don't know, Riz, I don't mean that way, he's come out in public.
All right, okay.
It's very unusual for Pep to actually say things like, yes, we're interested in Harry Kane, in public, and Pep's done that. Now, do you think that's a little, to ramp it up, the pressure up a little bit?
I think possibly because it's putting the pressure back on Tottenham, because they're going to have to do something now. Today, Tottenham have actually signed a striker today, haven't they, from Inter?
Have they actually signed him?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's good because also Lukaku seems to be going back to Chelsea, and Edin Dzeko is going to Inter Milan by all accounts.
Yeah, he is.
It's a
It begs the question. Look, just going back to Lukaku there, Chelsea must feel like absolute idiots at the minute, paying £97.5 million for a player they actually owned originally.
A bit like United, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, you stole me thunder, Riz. I was going to mention that. I was going to say,
sorry.
What kind of idiotic club, apart from Chelsea, had let a player go and then sign them back for nearly 100 million?
I know. Embarrassing, isn't it, really? And it's their star signing.
I know. It's quite scary. So I agree, Anne-Marie. I think it's going to be an interesting week. I can't see a deal being done before Sunday's match. However, I think the press will really, really crank it up now. Do you, John?
Yeah, I think we'll end up paying 120 million for him. But we can afford it this year. We've earned enough. I saw a statement out earlier from the bloke who does the Forbes or something like that we've got more than enough to actually buy them both. Not a problem.
And that's by winning the Premier League and the Carabao Cup, as well as going far in the Champions League and stuff like that. There's more than enough money there. People don't like as well as players what we've actually sold as well. I can see the pressure. Do we want Kane though, Riz?
I don't know what to think anymore now. I mean, I
hope you do because it's a good vlog. This and that's.
I'll do my best.
Go on.
The thing what's kind of thrown a bit of a spanner in the works is the Messi thing, isn't it? And
it's a bit messy, isn't it?
Very messy. And I still think there's a twist and a turn somewhere here. And I think Aguero might be in this twist and a turn. I don't know. It's just
Aguero's come out today and said he's staying at Barcelona. And he's now injured for the next 4 weeks as well.
All right, that's fair enough, isn't it?
Well, Anne-Marie, Edris says, Anne-Marie, Messi, he's not signed for PSG yet, has he?
No, but it won't come to us.
I don't actually think Pep is considering him, in all honesty.
No, he isn't.
Yeah.
He's already said he isn't considering him.
But Pep also said that we cannot afford to spend £100 million on a striker.
I know,
no way
but
we can't afford it.
Just another interesting little point though this week is obviously Kane didn't turn up on Monday and they were supposedly expecting him. And then within an hour of that being announced, you've got the likes of Jamie Carragher on Twitter saying how disgraceful it is and how no players should refuse to train. And he seems to forget that that's exactly what Van Dijk did to force his move to Liverpool. And all you're looking at is total hypocrisy from the press, that it's all right for one player but not another. And even though the fact is, Harry Kane states, and I kind of do think he's a genuine bloke, that it isn't true.
It wasn't Van Dijk, just Van Dijk either. It was Mane as well. He did exactly the same. Both to get to Liverpool.
Well, it's not like Scousers going on strike.
Sorry for swearing.
Hey, Riz, it's not like Scousers going on strike, is it?
Well, you know my feelings on the clan. They're a very strange breed, and they have a very short memory. They have selective memory loss, and they seem to forget things that don't go in their favour. I mean, the thing I was looking at yesterday was when England played. As soon as Jack Grealish warmed up, the crowd are on the feet. Oh, he's got Vimto. Oh, I could murder a pint of Vimto now, mate. Don't be dangling that in front of me. Can't get it out of you. And as soon as Jack Grealish warmed up, the whole stadiums were erupting with, wanting Jack Grealish to come on. Now, he played for City yesterday, and they booed him. Now, the same booing was for Sterling. When he signed for City, he got booed as well. It's like, well, why cheer him when he plays for England and boo a player that's not even left your club to go to another club? I don't understand. I don't understand that booing. Is it because he went for 100 million? Is it because he didn't like his Alice band where his legs looked like hot dog sausages with it too tanned? I don't know.
I thought it was classed by Christian Purslow at Aston Villa, the statement, what he did with regard to, Jack Grealish, because I think if Grealish had just signed for us, it'll got a lot more abuse. I think it'll settle the Villa fans down that. And you know something? It's not exactly Grealish's fault, is it? It was known that there was £100 million is going to be the release clause. And the word on the street, Villa offered him more money to stay than City, but he's ambitious, and I think he'll be a sensation for us.
Yeah, I think so. But regarding the booing, these smaller teams, because obviously Man City are a big team now, your Villas, your Leicesters, we're taking players off them, and they don't like it. So that's why they're booing them. No matter who it is or who we get, they'll boo them no matter what.
Yeah, but Villa's just been handed £100 million. That's money like they've never had seen before.
The fans seem to think that players should show loyalty and stay forever. And it happened with Gerrard at Liverpool. But Liverpool fans went a little bit over the mark and threatened him, which made him stay.
Threats, weren't they?
Yeah, they was. And that's what made him stay.
Like Rooney when he verbally agreed to play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same thing. But Villa fans, at least they didn't do that bit. But I suppose they didn't have chance really.
John, I always put it back to, I can understand how Villa fans feel in one respect, because it always takes me back to when Sean Wright-Phillips had to go and sign for Chelsea, which he didn't want to sign for Chelsea. It's well documented even by Shawnee that he was
saved the club.
Yeah, so that was to give City, because City was on the knees financially then. So how I was devastated when Shawnee signed for Chelsea. But we didn't turn our backs on Wright. We actually, so like, we could understand it, and you know, it was never a bad moment, was it, where City fans were booing Wright? Even when we played against him when he was playing for Chelsea, we still sung his name. I think you've got to be a different breed of not just a fan, but a club to have that mentality.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few instances, haven't there? I mean, what's he called? Milner. I think that's for different reasons, though. I think that's because he gobbed off when he left. If he'd have just gone, kept his head down, and said thank you very much, there wouldn't have been an issue.
No, there wouldn't.
I'm trying to think of the other player. I can't think of what his name is. And I think he went to Leicester, and they were calling him greedy, and I can't think who he was. But yeah, these players are, you know, if you leave your club, we're used to it. We've always been a selling club, if you like. I don't really like that word, but we've always been a selling club, really, where we've got used to over the years of getting a good player and then having to sell him on.
Well,
relegation battle.
It's just like, you're quite right, Riz, where we have a decent player and we had to sell, and it's totally different now. Yesterday at Wembley, Iheanacho scored the penalty. I thought it was really, really respectful of the lad, not to start jumping up and down and doing cartwheels and stuff like that. Would you, as a Leicester fan, would you be a little bit annoyed him not celebrating?
No.
Possibly not, because you know we've seen it ourselves. I mean, you know, I look at you know, do you remember the day Lampard scored the equaliser against Chelsea, and he didn't celebrate? I think it was the first game of the season, and he scored the equaliser against Chelsea and for us, and didn't celebrate.
Yeah.
And I do kind of respect that in a player. And then you've got the other extreme where Milner scored against us and took great delight in celebrating.
I hate Milner. I really hate
Milner. Kissing the badge and all that. I mean, that wrong, innit?
Yeah.
Snake.
Rooney did it, didn't he?
Yeah. One thing what's been said by Pep, which is a little bit intriguing, is there is a number of players who want to leave City this transfer window. It's well documented. Bernardo. Now we've got Grealish. I think the writing's on the wall. But the press actually quite make me chuckle, really, because it's documented that Bernardo wants to leave England, and it's not been the same in my opinion, since all that Mendy stuff. You know, where I don't think it's been right there. But and then they link him with Spurs. Is Spurs abroad or something? I don't know. So who are the other ones? Laporte. I think even Gab Jesus. I think he could be one of the ones to make way as well.
I agree. Pep said though, if a player wants to leave, let me know and find yourself a club.
Yeah.
You know, and that's fair for me. That's, you know, that's not saying, we want you to, you know, I want you to go. That's just saying, listen, if your loyalties don't stay with us, you've had your head turned and you want to go, tell me and I'll let you go. I'm not going to stand in your way. And I think, how fair can you be? I think that's a great attitude.
Regarding Laporte, I can understand him wanting to go because he's not played much at all. We couldn't understand why he wasn't playing much. So I can understand a player wanting to play. And if he's not getting game time where he is, he'll want to move on. The only thing is, really, we cannot afford to let Laporte go because he is a top central defender and we need to keep him.
I agree, John. We've got Nathan Ake.
Not in the same league, Andy.
No, they're not. He's not. Definitely not.
Why, Anne-Marie?
Because I think we yet to see him have a really decent game for us when he has played. And I just think you can, while he was a great player at Bournemouth, it's a whole different thing playing in our City team. And we yet, whether it's because he's been injured, which we seem to have a thing of buying injury-prone players.
I thought he had a good game yesterday up until the penalty.
Yeah, I did.
It was quite solid, but for me, he doesn't command anything. It's like in that position, that's where Diaz normally plays, isn't it? And I think Diaz plays better on that side as well.
No, he does with Stonesy on the other.
Yeah.
No, I agree there. So, who do you think we're going to possibly buy? Because surely if there's a number of players who want, it looks like Laporte could go back to Spain, anywhere. I don't think it's any coincidence that he's chosen Spain as his nationality.
Well, he can't go Barcelona, can he?
No, but the Atletico Madrid, they seem to be a little bit minted. There's a central defender really short. Well, two really at Real Madrid with is it him Varane going to United and also the idiot boy gone to PSG. So there's that could be one option. I think we will lose him. I'd like to think that Gab would possibly. I don't think Gab would stay in England. I think he'd want to move to a Spain or something like that, or even it could even go to Roma if Dzeko's going to Inter Milan. I think it could be quite a merry-go-round with a lot of strikers. What could actually involve City because it'll release one to the other.
Thing is, though,
Gabby will go.
Don't we need another striker? We need another striker now. So why buy a striker and let a striker go?
Well, we've already let one go in Aguero, haven't we? So
yeah.
But who knows? I can see. Listen, I can see Sterling going straight down the middle next season because I know Grealish and Foden can play across the front line, but I think stability-wise, we need an out-and-out striker, especially if Lukaku is gone back to Chelsea. Because they mean business because he is going to be a big hit for them. He's proven in the Premier League as well. So I think we need a top striker, an established striker, and would attack Harry Kane. Absolutely, I think he's made for us.
Definitely.
Well,
I think he'll back. He'll end up
I'm gutted that Bernardo might go though.
He's homesick, the lad, isn't he?
There's no place for him now, though, is there?
Well, that's a matter of opinion, isn't it, Andy?
Okay, then where would he play?
I can give you my answer, but you're not going to be like it.
What's up with Mahrez? I think Mahrez has been brilliant.
I knew the M word.
That he wants to go as well.
Mahrez has already said he wants to end his career at City.
Mahrez is going nowhere.
He's going nowhere. He seems to be one of the first on Pep's team sheets every game, and I was one of his biggest critics. But fair play to Mahrez. I think he's nailed on to stay. So if in the grand scheme of things, where would you put Bernardo? Because Grealish is going to be starting. He's not going to just put an £100 million player on the bench. Sterling, as I say, I think he'll be straight down the middle. You've got Foden there. This De Bruyne. There's so many options there. But I agree. I love Bernardo. I love his enthusiasm and stuff like that. But I think his time's up. Don't be upset, Anne-Marie.
No, I think, again, fair play to Bernardo. I think by all accounts, he wanted to go last year, and Pep said, give us another season. I think he's homesick. I think that knocked him for 6. The incident.
Don't blame him.
With Mendy.
It was disgusting.
I do as well. Absolutely. He's a decent lad, and I think an honest lad, and he knocked him for 6. And I think he just thought, I'm lost here. I'm in a country what I don't know anything about.
Well, if you think about
they've lynched me for something I didn't do.
If you think about the punishment he got, in his eyes, he'd done nothing wrong, and they punished him for doing something in his eyes that he did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And in our eyes, he did nothing wrong. It was just the press, the way they hounded him, and I don't blame him for wanting to go. I do not blame him.
Could City have done more to protect him?
Yes, definitely. It's as though the press are untouchable in City's eyes. There's so many. They're not even journalists now. There's so many of the scum that get into the press box. I just won't let people in. It's not like there's a law that says they have to go in.
You say that though, but aren't City stopping people going in the press box now?
I don't know, Addy. Is that something that you've got news of?
No, I just seen something on Twitter, or I heard it through the grapevine, that they're stopping a lot of the so-called, how can I put it?
Smaller.
Also runs and stuff like that. They're stopping them going into the press box now.
Well, let's hope they put Oliver Holt in that bracket then, and Custis, and loads of others.
There's not many red top journalists what are okay. I think Martin Blackburn's all right at the red top. There is one or two who've got the ear of certain people at City.
Is it Martin Samuel? Is he called? Is he?
He's not red top, mate.
No, but I mean he's one of the decent journalists. I would still call a journalist.
Yeah. And you don't mind that with a fairness, do they? They slaughter us for something, and they got facts behind it. You can't argue with facts, but some of them now, they just like. I think Jack Grealish, there'll be so much pressure on him from the press. They'll be watching him. They'll be following him about, in his private life and stuff like that. And it's sad, really. But why? Because he signed a huge contract with City. You can't blame the lad, but the journalists, as you say, they
certainly don't help from an England point of view either, do they?
No.
Yeah, but he signed the contract, but he didn't put that price on his head. His club did.
Exactly.
So why it's not the players' fault.
Yeah, but isn't that British press though? British press, they have filing cabinets full of photographs and stories on every single player. Doesn't matter what level they're at, they've got them. And as soon as that player, players, you're a different kind of player. You know what I'm saying? And these players, it's in the press's interests to look after these players. Now, if they've done something ridiculously stupid, if they drink driving or stuff like that, that needs bringing up, because these guys are role models. So I completely agree with that.
No, why the role models?
Well, look at the kids. I mean,
the kids look up to them.
I'd like to.
It's not a role model's probably the wrong word, but there's no other word to use.
I'd like to think. I'd like to think kids, whether it's boy or a girl or transgender, we don't judge anymore. The parents should be role models.
Well, they should be, but unfortunately, a lot of parents, not all parents, obviously, a lot of parents don't come up to scratch these days, and you just
parents aren't famous.
No, fathers should be role models, and Riz, you are my role model.
Oh, cheers, mate. You're mine, Andy. You're mine. There's nothing I won't do without consulting you, mate.
I still keep looking at Paula's Karate Kid there.
Keep looking at what?
Paula's Karate Kid.
Wax on, wax off, Danielson.
I thought I looked like John Travolta.
John Revolting. So,
Don't you think if he had a tennis racket now, I'd
you look
be
like
Andre Agassi?
Agassi, yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
Definitely.
an old
No.
Agassi.
Role models now aren't what they used to be. When you've got like the likes of Katie Price and the all the Love Island bints that are flashing around, I don't want my grandkids having them as role models, and they won't be.
Hang on a minute. Got a text. That's what it's just terrible. But I totally agree with you. So the Premier League kicks off next weekend for us. It's going to be interesting because De Bruyne is injured, Foden's injured. There's still, some players like Stonesy and that who've not, and Kyle Walker, Edison, who've not had any minutes yet on the pitch. Is it going to be a tough start for us?
Yeah. I think the team against Tottenham is probably the team that played you today. I don't reckon that any of the others will be ready.
I think Grealish will start. I think he'll start. Even Sterling's not had any minutes. I think all the English and the Brazilian lads, they're all back tomorrow, by all accounts. So they're not going to be fit in time. Likewise, Harry Kane won't be facing us, which is.
What did you think of the youngsters yesterday?
I think if Nduzi had put that chance away, it'd have been a different game. I thought Palmer did okay, lively, but it just, people are crying out for these kids should be starting, But Pep's proven they're not ready. He'll dip them in, dip them out, exactly like he did with Foden. I was surprised that Delap's gone to Stoke on loan. I thought.
No, has he? Has he? I thought that was.
I didn't think that had happened yet.
No,
it hasn't happened yet.
He's injured. I thought it was a hoax.
No, it looks like he will be going to Stoke on loan.
Derby County won him as well.
It's a bit disappointing that because, but having said that, you know.
But
I don't think it's happened yet. I think it won't happen until we get a striker.
I thought Fandabidozi was Fandabidozi yesterday, to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought first half he looked like a startled rabbit in the headlights. Which I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter whether you're a professional footballer or not. That is going to happen. Oh, what's that? Is this?
Sorry, it's my phone.
I thought I would have prize. I thought I said a key word, and then when you said that word, you win a prize. I thought something Andy's introduced while I was away last week. But I thought first half he was
maybe.
Yeah, second half I thought Pep had a word with him and basically go and express yourself, and I think he did. And I thought second half was superb. Cole Palmer, difficult game for him again, up against men instead of boys, a lot stronger, and he got fobbed off in a tackle a few times, and he'll learn from it. That was ideal to put them kids in yesterday.
I
thought
agree.
it was
I agree.
Great effort.
I don't think it was a bad match. It's just I thought it was good for the likes. I thought Gundogan played very well.
Very well.
Werner played well. Thank God he's signed a new 1-year contract.
Yeah, that's great. That.
Yeah, so Diaz looked like Diaz. He's thought Mendy did okay-ish.
Yeah, there's a couple of crosses he put in there that looked like the proper Mendy crosses. But it's just not consistent enough.
He just looks awkward.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. He just looks like.
Try and explain it.
It would be like me playing football. He gets the ball. He gets given the ball, and he passes
Footballers
it.
normally
Instead of moving into space, he follows the ball. And there was loads of times yesterday when they were playing little triangles, and it was like great, but all he needed to do was take a few steps backwards, and he's brought the defender with him, created and opened up that triangle, and the ball could have been moved. He just looks, I don't know, he just looks like.
I don't think he's got a footballing brain. I don't think he can play our style of play. I think he's used to playing on the counter, and I think that's the only way he can play.
Getting the ball and going past people.
I think he's been affected by what Bernardo said to him.
What was that, Andy?
So I reckon if Bernardo does move, it's quite natural that Mendy needs to go with him. Anne-Marie.
So you think, but if you think if Bernardo,
Anne-Marie's got a text. She's got a text.
I think. You see, for me, I think we need a left back, and I think we need a defensive midfielder as well.
I think Mendy needs left him back somewhere else.
But I still think we need a defensive midfielder because I'm not convinced about Rodri, and I think there was quite a few times yesterday that Fernandinho gave the ball away as well.
Did he?
I've got a feeling that
tonight's going to be a good night.
Actually start seeing Kevin De Bruyne drop further down towards the back now.
No.
You don't reckon?
So
I do.
We're going to have him
He's
as a new
30 now.
Fernandinho.
He's 30, and I reckon that Grealish could actually play it ahead of him.
Yeah, I agree with that, John. But for me, there's something not quite right there, because if Grealish is going to be playing on the left, Foden's going to go in midfield, surely. So where does that leave Sterling? It's got to be straight down the middle. It's got to be.
Well, it depends how they rotate them, doesn't it? There's a lot of games.
I'm not
bothered
about
Harry Kane.
So that's what I mean. There's something not. The numbers are not adding up, Riz.
Could you actually pick the best 11 out of our team?
Yes.
I couldn't.
I could.
No, I couldn't. Not with Grealish in there as well.
All right, let's have a go then. Edison.
I'll start.
No, I've started, so I'll finish.
I was going to pick him.
Right, this is mine. Edison, Walker, Zinchenko, Diaz, and Stones. Would you any of you change any of those?
No, that's fine.
Not at the moment.
And I'm only going off players what we've currently got as well, not who's touted on coming in.
Okay.
In midfield, I definitely have Mahrez starting, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Grealish on the left, and up front, Sterling and.
That's a face and a half, isn't it?
I know it's a tough one. Who would have put? I'd probably say
Mahrez or Foden.
Did I miss Foden out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have Foden. Yeah. No, I would have.
See, you can't pick your best 11, can you?
I've just picked it.
But then you're confused whether about Foden or Mahrez.
No,
So it's a hard decision.
Fernandinho.
No, Fernandinho's not a starter. It's not a starter. Oh, okay. In midfield, I'd go for.
But in that 11
you
you've
put
just done
Mahrez
there.
in midfield.
I put Mahrez in midfield. I put Mahrez, Gundogan,
Kevin.
Who's playing defensive mid?
De Bruyne, Grealish on the
defensive?
left, with Sterling and Foden.
Who's your
Who's playing defensive mid?
midfield?
Don't need it.
Yeah.
De Bruyne further
That's
back.
what lost us a Champions League final.
Yeah.
What? Because I picked the team.
Yeah.
No, not needing a defensive
That's why
midfielder.
then, isn't it? That's why we picked the team. Pep, listen to you.
Well, and we've also had you doing a Pep Guardiola impersonation at one time, haven't we, Riz?
Yeah, that was funny, wasn't it?
That was quite funny.
That could be for another podcast.
Hey, it could be. We could get Mr. Klopp
I felt
live.
like Steve Penk on his wind-up show.
That's one for us after the show here. So yeah, you're quite right, John. It is a very, very difficult one, and that changes massively when if Kane does come in and another.
But there's a lot of games, and Pep likes rotation, and I'm sure he'll sort it and he'll figure it out. Because I don't think we've got.
You used to like the waltzers, Pep.
Yeah, I don't think we've got a best 11. I think we've got a best probably 16.
So surely it's going to be easier for Pep once if Bernardo goes, if say Laporte goes. Now who'd have thought we wouldn't have had Laporte in our starting 11 in the last season?
I know. See, regarding Laporte, why can't we play 3 at the back?
We can.
Oh, yeah.
You can play every game then.
There's another player in midfield then.
See, none of us had Cancelo in our starting 11. And look at the season he had.
Well, we could play 3 at the back and then drop to a 5. You could play 3 at the back with wing backs.
Just shows you how difficult it is, though, doesn't it? Really.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine when Pep picks these teams, all the fanboy accounts will be going ballistic because their player's not in it. And then if it doesn't come off, oh, it's this, that, and the other, Pep out, and it's good. I might have to turn Twitter off this season.
I've seen your tweets. I think you need to.
How dare?
Are we going for a new record tonight?
What?
Longest podcast going.
Well, what time is it?
Hour and 2 minutes.
Well,
don't he?
I better,
11 o'clock over here.
hang on, I better press record, haven't I? No, so the week ahead, it could be interesting, especially the ins and outs of, if Messi signs for PSG. If not, Anne-Marie, it makes sense.
We won't come in here, Andy.
But
whoever signs him is going to sell a lot of shirts, aren't they? Let's
I'll
have
tell
it
you
right.
something. I will lose respect for him if he goes to the Farmers League.
Yeah,
I think I think he's bottled it if he goes there.
I've lost it already, mate. When I saw him crying earlier.
When you think he might sign for United?
I preferred him to sign for United than go to a Farmers League. I'm on about Sheffield United, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could be an interesting week. I still think there's going to be a couple of shocks as departures from us. I think there might be a couple of shocks if new recruits as well. As well as Harry Kane, and then it leads us up nicely to Spurs at the weekend. Predictions for the Spurs match, because this time next week we'll know.
I reckon it's going to be 2-1 City.
Anne-Marie.
Well, I always go 3-1, so I'm going to stick with that.
Mr. Riz.
1-0 City.
I'm going to go 3-1 Gota. Gota first goal.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah. I'm going to get the odds from the William Hill and see what I can get on that. Seriously,
has anybody just a quick one? It's just dropped into my head there. Has anybody downloaded the season ticket yet?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no problem.
No,
Very easy. No.
Because I'm in foreign country here, so
Stockport.
I'm going to have to sift through emails and stuff, and because I want to print my ticket off.
Yeah, you go on your account, on your City account, log in, and it's there. You can either print it off or download it to your mobile.
Can you not do both?
No, once you've printed it off, I think you have to skip to print it off.
See, it's not just a podcast. It's a
public service announcement.
It's an information centre as well, isn't it?
For all those who are wondering,
we're on an hour and 5 minutes. It's a bit late to tell anybody. You should have told them at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's for anybody who's new to the podcast. I am actually Emily from Customer Services. If you ever wanted to know what I look like.
Yeah, and she's got one of them voice changes at the minute.
Oh no, this is because I'm on holiday.
Right, guys. We will know this time next week. Our season will be up and running. Hopefully at 3 points. We've all predicted a victory, so we'll soon find out, won't we?
Certainly will.
Indeed.
So until next week, I will bid you a good day. Have a good week, guys.
Yeah.
Take
fun.
care, everybody.
And one
enjoy the
thing
rain.
before we go.
Go on.
Before we go. Buy a coffee.
Buy
Yeah.
a coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buy a coffee.
Yeah. Do some homework.
Do your homework. Buy a coffee.
Right. Will Google tell me why?
Yeah.
Twitter will.
Buy a coffee. Right. Buy a coffee.
And enjoy the rain, my fellow Mancunians over in England. 38 degrees it was today.
In Stockport.
Yep.
See you next week, guys.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.